30% of real estate agents will quit in 2023. 80% of agents active right now will have quit within the next 2 years. Here are 4 ways to avoid being one of them and not getting flushed down the real estate toilet. Hey, what's up? I'm Mike Kramer with eXp Realty, kramertherealtor.com. I help new agents launch their business and top agents get an exit strategy and build residual income without dealing with tenants, toilets, or termites. So let's talk about the 4 ways to avoid being one of the 80% of agents that are going to quit in the next 2 years, with at least 30% of them leaving in 2023. So the first method is to ignore the competition. It's easy to see who's the top producers in your market. You keep seeing their name everywhere and you start to get frustrated and think at first it might start innocent, like you want to mimic them, see what they're doing. But the reality is you want to set yourself apart from them and what makes you different. And just completely ignore the competition because you don't want to fall into the scarcity mindset. You could read more about the abundance versus the scarcity mindset and what it can do to just crush all your dreams and hopes and really screw up your mindset. Ignore the competition and instead focus on what you know are the income producing activities that are going to help you grow your business. You need to move the needle because the fact of the matter is people will do business with you when they know, like, and trust you. And you may resonate with them much more than the top agent in your market. And that's usually just a personality thing, like a preference. So just because someone else in your market is crushing it, for one, it doesn't mean that there is not enough business for you. Unless you're in a very rural area, there's plenty of business for everybody. For 2, at least 70% of their business is going to be repeats and referrals. So you need to focus on new home buyers and all of the other people in your market and start small, get hyper local, and really focus on your market and become an expert on it. You want to know exactly what sets you apart and what your unique value proposition is so you can build that into what we call like a 20-second elevator speech. You need a separate one for buyers, sellers, and even for agents if you're going to attract them to your brokerage. I'm going to talk more about that in an upcoming video, so make sure you subscribe and check that out. Number 2 is you have to be disciplined. It's easy to get into a slump, start binge watching some of the awesome TV series on Netflix or Apple TV, Paramount Plus, all the hundreds of plus channels, Disney, right? If you're a Star Wars or Mandalorian or a Marvel fan like I am, real easy to slip into that and get distracted. In fact, with the stream on demand content, you can binge watch until 3 a.m. and not get any sleep. And now you just ruined 2 days productivity. So what do I mean by being disciplined? It means getting a schedule, setting it out each hour, what you're planning on doing. And right then, next to that, I have a 2-column one. I could share that sheet with you. Just reach out in the comments if you're interested in that. But I have an Excel sheet I built, real simple, but I print it out. I have 1 per day, and I write what I'm going to do each hour. And then next to that is what I actually did that hour. So I'm constantly reviewing it every hour or two to see, did I do what I was supposed to that hour? And you want to stick to that schedule as hard as you can. You could do it in your phone, put in your calendar, whatever works for you, but you have to live by that calendar and don't let anything get in the way. These disciplines are really, we're talking about habits and building good habits. And the way you do that is you schedule it. It takes at least 30 days to build a new habit. So you have to schedule it, set alarms, whatever works for you, so that at that same time every day, preferably, you're doing the actions that are going to move the needle in your business. Going out there, having conversations, calling leads, following up, putting yourself out there, and don't be a secret agent. Make sure everyone knows that you sell real estate. The third method is to get organized. So I used to have a completely messy desk, and I might have had a stack of to-do things, marketing ideas, a business plan. But when it's all mixed up in stacks of paper on your desk and you don't know what to do next, you're going to be shuffling around and your to-do list is just going to say, handle the pile on your desk, and you're not going to get anywhere. So you really need to get organized. There's a lot of great free tools out there, like Trello.com is a great one. You can do it either as a schedule with each day, or you can move leads across a pipeline from different stages, like cold, warm, hot, or whatever stage they are in the process, or your tasks each day, and did you do them, However you want to work it, there's a million ways to do it. There's another one called Toggle, T-O-G-G-L, where it tracks your time and it helps you show what exactly you spent your time doing. And it has these cool reports then for the week showing what % of your time was spent where. And it might sound funny, but all the top agents I know even put their family time in there because it's extremely important to them. So people get that wrong, thinking, if you're just penciling in your family, like you barely have time for them. But the reality is how many top agents just completely ignore the things that they say are important to them. A lot of them do, unfortunately. So if you pencil in, you put in your schedule, and you learn to live by your schedule, you're going to end up accomplishing exactly what you planned to accomplish. So getting organized means waking up earlier, getting on a schedule, keeping your desk clean, focusing on one thing at a time. One thing that works for me is I have a 20-minute timer I'll set, and I know that I'm going to focus on whatever it is, XYZ, for 20 minutes. And until that timer goes off, I cannot even think about something else. And it helps me to focus on that one thing at a time. And after that 20 minutes, I might stand up, walk around the room, jump up and down, whatever it is, get the energy flowing, address whatever interruptions came up. But you know that 20 minutes, you're going to focus. Eventually, you can make that longer, but 20 minutes at a time is pretty good, and it works for me because I'm still able to handle any interruptions that might come up, but I know I can get that focus in, and you'll fall just short of focusing the entire hour if you do that 3 times. And whether you're still living in the digital or physical world or some hybrid like most of us are, you want to get organized with your files, your notes, etc. So I make sure whether I'm attending a training or reading a book, I use OneNote. You can use Evernote, some other tools out there, and I organize by category. I have multiple notebooks, and one just for my real estate business. I have a separate one for personal. And not only do I have contacts and other recommendations in there, but when I take a training or read a book, I'll highlight exactly what my takeaways were for each chapter. That way, I'm less likely to feel like I have to read the book again, even though that's not a terrible idea. I can instead review those points and see what I want to do. It's sort of like your own Cliff Notes, but it's more meaningful to you and it's in your own words. And it's more likely you'll remember things that way. As far as files, I got myself a label printer, file cabinet, and I have things set in there. Make sure you review them. I put a date. I'll write on the folder when I pull it out the last time I looked at it. I write the date of when I pulled that folder out and looked at it. And once a year, you can go through your files and make sure if there's files in there you haven't looked at in a year, get rid of them. So stay organized, and it's especially true. I probably don't have to tell you with accounting. There's multiple apps you can use for whether it's accounting for your miles driven in your car. Reach out, of course, to your accountant and ask how you can best write things off for your business as appropriate, but you don't want to miss out on that. Remember, as a realtor, you can write off things like your professional attire and shoes and things like that as a realtor because you need them for your business. But again, consult your tax expert or your accountant. I am neither one of those things. These are just things that I've heard through the grapevine. So you definitely want to look into it because you're probably throwing some money away, paying taxes on things that were actually expenses for your business. That's really probably a whole nother video. So let's get back on track. Make sure to stay to the end for a bonus tip I got for you. You're not going to want to miss it. But number 4 is mindset. And I know you've probably heard this before. You might be groaning or rolling your eyes. If you haven't realized just how important mindset is, just look at all the successful people out there and how much they talk about it, have written books about it. That should tell you something. I'm going to paraphrase one of my favorite sayings, which was, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. And that succinctly sums up how powerful mindset is, because either way, you can do it or you cannot do it. It depends on your mindset. So there's several great books out there, and there's some great podcasts you can listen to in the car while you're waiting in line or commuting or whatever it is you're doing. I follow people like Ed Milet. There's some great ones in your industry for real estate, whether it's Tom Ferry. Many people seek spiritual guidance and follow some of the religious leaders in their areas that have written books on these topics, but you can, of course, search the internet and search YouTube for mindset and positive mental attitude and things like that, and find out a list of tips and practices that people do. But it really comes down to believing that you can do things and believing that you deserve it. So some people are hung up on one of those two things. They either think that they don't deserve it or they think it's not possible for them. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter where you came from, right? We may all have a tougher starting line, but it doesn't mean you can't run in the race. It doesn't mean you can't cross that finish line. It doesn't mean you can't come out ahead or win. So I don't know if that's a great analogy for you, but it just doesn't matter. The past is the past. You can't change it. So focus on what you can change, like the present and the future, and just get after your goals. I'm a pretty straightforward person, but I do spend time every day envisioning what it is I want. Why am I doing it? And it's been proven that people who have a strong why are a lot more likely to reach their goals. It's something like 90% will reach their goals if they have a strong emotional why. Why do you want, if you're saying you're in real estate because you want money, Why do you want money? You might say, oh, because I never had it. I never had enough. I grew up poor, or I'm poor now, or whatever. Tie something more emotional to that. What feelings did you have when you were poor? How bad was it? Could you not put food on your table? Did you have debt collection people calling you every day? Think about the feelings you had, that emotional. Some people are motivated by pain, others by pleasure. A lot more of us are motivated, sadly, by pain, meaning you want to avoid pain, and that's what motivates you. So if you want to avoid those feelings you had when you were broke, or when you were in debt, or when you couldn't pay for things for your kids or your wife or whomever, think about those feelings and let that motivate you. I use that, but I also think about who I want to help. So as you become more successful, you're going to want to start thinking about other people. You've already helped yourself and the people around you. Now you're going to want to help more people. You're going to want to donate to more causes, more charity. And you want to think about what's important to you and think about the why there. That's another strong why for me, at least. It should be for you, is where you think, okay, not only do I want to help, I want to avoid the pain, right, in my own life, but then you want to also help the people around you. And why do you want to help them? How exactly do you want to help them? Envision what it is that you want to provide for them, right? And then take it a step further and think about the causes you want to donate to or volunteer for, or have the time to go volunteer for or do on your own, other projects you want to start. Think about those things, and those are become your strong reasons why you're going to want to do anything. A powerful story I heard was about someone that couldn't quit smoking and was out of shape and just couldn't give up drinking, smoking, or unhealthy lifestyle, which led them to have an unfit body overall. I don't know if this was Ed Milet or somebody else had gone up to him to motivate him. It might have been Hal Elrod. He has some great books too, by the way, The Miracle Morning and The Miracle Equation. He talks a lot about your why and things like that in there as well, and mindset. But he was speaking to this person, whoever it was. So they said, hey, what's the most important things in your life? And they talked about their family. And so they said, do you want to see your daughter walk down the aisle one day? Do you want to see her get married and walk her down the aisle? And they're like, of course. Why? That would mean so much to me. And he said, well, don't you want to be alive to be able to do that? Don't you want to be alive to walk your daughter down the aisle when she gets married? And the father broke down in tears and quit smoking, quit drinking, and started working out because they realized they didn't have the daily habits to achieve what was most important to them in life. So I want you to think about that and make your own version of that for your goals and your reason why. All right, so I can go on and on and do a whole nother video about mindset. I probably will. Let me know in the comments if you think I should. The bonus tip that I promised you was know what makes you unique, your UVP, your unique value proposition. Why should somebody use you as their realtor, right? Or why should they join your brokerage, whatever it is you're trying to achieve? I recommend you develop and practice 3 different 20-second elevator pitches. Have one for buyers, one for sellers, and one for agent attraction if you're trying to recruit for your brokerage. Now, a lot of people are like, why would I do that for a $10 gift card or $500? Well, if you're at my brokerage at eXp, you can get extremely wealthy by attracting agents doing the same thing you're doing at any other brokerage, but bringing them on to eXp, and just a few agents can change your life. That's the residual income. It's a willable asset. You could will that cash flow, all of it, to somebody if you should pass away. So no other brokerage offers something like this. I know guys making $400,000 a month or even a week on residual income, and they stop producing. They can go on vacation. They can have a downturn in the market. They're still making a lot of money. Now that took them years to build that. We're not all making that much on the residual income, but the point is no other brokerage offers that amount. And if you're a top producer and you only want to focus on producing, that's fine as well, of course, but you're going to get all your cap money back that you paid to the brokerage. You're going to get it back in stock if you are what we call an icon agent, if you're one of the top producers. So there's no better time to join eXp than now. Everyone I talked to says they just wished, the only regret they had joining eXp was they wished they had joined sooner. Not that they didn't benefit, but they were like, if I knew now what I would have known then, I would have joined back then. So if you want more info about that, let me know. Or let's say you're thinking about quitting as a realtor, you got your realtor fees coming up for the year. Maybe you pay annually and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go back to doing, something else. That's fine. I would love to have a conversation with you before you do, but know that eXp offers a referral program. And just hear me out here for a second. If If you don't want to renew your realtor fees, you don't want to be a realtor anymore, that's fine. You could do that. But I would recommend that you at least move to EXP and join the referral program before you quit, because for some greatly reduced amount of money per month and no realtor fees or anything, you can be in their referral network program where you can still make money for years based on people you refer into that program. These are all your clients you've built up and stuff like that. So just know, I just want you to know, or somebody else you know, that if you quit being a realtor, you've had it, you just don't like it, that's fine. There are other options out there where you can still make money for years to come through the referral network. So contact me if you want more information about that. If this helped you out, please drop a comment below and let me know. I really appreciate it. I'm Kramer the Realtor. This is Real Estate Success. Let me know what you want to see next. And remember, if you think you can or cannot, you're right. So if you believe it, you can achieve it. Go out there and make your dreams come true. I'll see you next time.